How many messages do you tell yourself on a daily basis on a preconceived notion that, for instance, people are going to think about you a certain way if your hair is not groomed? For instance, if you shave or do you not? Do you have a tattoo or do you not? The things that we do to avoid judgment by others has gone to a breaking point in our society. And, you know, we allow freedom of expression in theory. And I personally appreciate and love the freedom of expression. I mean, come on, guys, there's just such a thing as too much Bermuda grass in the world. We do need a little bit of variety. And that's kind of that idea that you're going to find happiness in a monoculture, a single element, a single molecule, if you will. It's kind of the same thing. You know, if everybody has Bermuda grass, then nobody has crabgrass, and nobody raises dandelions, then there is very little ecosystem there, and then we have to kill pests because they're overproducing in an area that's not designed for an ecosystem. It's like the biological version of concrete, guys. Seriously. That's, if you can't even consider breaking that stereotype in a town, in a city, in a fellowship, in a county, in a state, at whatever level, then, you know, farmers are going to be the saviors of the earth because they're the only ones protecting what little ecosystem we got left. At least in Oklahoma, we've got a nice forest going across the state, and most of that's due to people conserving their own land. We take a very high view of personal responsibility in Oklahoma, a very strong view of personal responsibility. And, you know, I think whether you're red or blue, it doesn't matter. There's no right answer to a lot of questions. There's only a matter of degrees and a matter of spectrum, a matter of looking at it on a spectrum of who gets hurt and who benefits. And if you can't address all sides of an issue, if you're just going to tell your own narrative and make it sound pretty just to the people who don't listen to anybody else, man, that is just the worst type of brainwashing. That's the Jim Jones cult of personality right there. And we're seeing it in real time. How many people in the United States are lemmings? How many people have invested, how many white people have invested all their personal power in that weapon, in that gun, in that baseball bat they carry around in the car, in the, you know, or whatever. And yet we are taught to be so compliant and respectful to authority that we often get burned ourselves when encountering the police or those with authority, because we assume that they have a good will towards us. But then, you know, so, and whereas minorities tend to expect it, the lack of goodwill is what I'm saying. And so it's kind of a fiction that we've learned ourselves somehow. And if you can't unlearn that, if you can't go back to your childhood beliefs and rework what you think is good and bad and what is right and wrong, that's what it boils down to, because truthfully, we all are born with an innate sense of good and evil, of rightness and wrongness, okay? And sentience gives us the ability to evolve that to a higher level if we allow it to happen. But if we don't center our ideals, our beliefs around humans as part of an ecosystem, even within our own social connections, it's a different kind of ecosystem. But geez, you know, you want to drain the swamp, look at the swamp the internet has become. The quest for information. We are a nation that's blinded by information overload. Nobody has all the answers to everything. And the problem is, most of the people with those opinions that they're telling you on a continual basis, They're just telling you what you want to hear to reinforce beliefs that you've already closed off. So if it's a dead end, if it's a book, a closed book can't be written in, much less read. And most people at an advanced age, once they learn adulting skills on top of their misguided past, they kind of tend to think, okay, I'm going to make the best of this life, and they forget about God, forget about politics, focus on making money, focus on girls, or in girls' cases, on guys, or on family, or or on the outdoors. There are so many great things about our country, about our world to enjoy if we were allowed to. But honestly, if we don't close off that empathy, like most people do, because anybody who walks around with a full set of empathy receptors, I guess, you can't really enjoy too much of the world if you see your brother suffering. A lot of people deal with that just by hiding their eyes, burying their head in the sand, dealing with what they can. You can only deal with what you can deal with. And that is a lot of what I'm trying to do here. A lot of what I am trying to do here is to teach you to create a little bit of breathing room in your psyche, in your programming, in your belief system. How many people tell you on a daily basis what to think about and how to think about it? I don't recall a single conversation where I wasn't inflicted, if you will, with the other person's opinion. I have had many beautiful conversations, don't get me wrong, but I have had many conversations where the other person was just liking me enough to wait for me to quit talking so that they could talk. So pretty quickly, when talking to people, I realized the only way to really get through to them or to understand them is to just listen. So I started. And we've got so many. I've heard right now the white rhetoric on Trump is so freaking cray-cray. No kidding. Construction worker I talked to. He says, yeah, I think Trump's a clunkerhead, I think is the word he used. Something along those lines. He's just a chump, an idiot. He made him sound like he really is the boss hog that everybody says he is. And then he said, but he's been beating the same drum since he got in office. The wall, immigration, guns. All people on the right really are looking for is somebody that will protect their individual rights. Okay? We're living in a chaotic world and tragedies happen. We've had way too many school shootings that have just developed in my children's lifetime. And we have to get over that. We have to get past that as a nation. We have to focus on our children. We can't keep we can't keep putting them in a school system that teaches them to be a corporate drone at the best. And at the worst, to send them out into the world unprepared for the grinding, the meat grinder, the proving ground after high school. Kids who don't have the sense of self, the sense of purpose, the connection with their Creator, to know that they're alive and welcomed to be alive on this planet. That's the thing. Christianity is great for people who are broken down, but if you're raised in Christianity, they try to break you down. And it just don't work that way, guys. A lot of people accept it, and I tried over and over and over. But, they just Eventually, if you do that manufactured break-in process, try to be bad enough for the creator to save you, you know, try and get that connection, it becomes its own kind of addictive cycle if you let it.